Hey everybody, welcome back to Video Game. So, Derek and I'm here today with some more big decomp energy. That is because recently a lot of people have been asking about the progress on the Super Smash Bros. Melee decompilation project. I talked about it maybe 9 months or so ago, and I will say in that time, the decompilation status has absolutely more than doubled, getting pretty close to getting to 70%. And honestly, this is the #1 most requested decomp, recomp, or PC port on the channel as far as Smash Bros. Games are concerned. I hear this game mentioned in comments more often than basically anything else, so I figured it'd be time to actually do a status update report. If we get too far involved though, do me a huge favor down below, hit like and subscribe and hit that notification bell, definitely helps us out. And if you feel so inclined and want to support the channel, I got a Patreon link down below as well. But Melee definitely is my favorite Smash game, and I feel like it's a lot of people's favorite, and getting to a world where this thing is 100% decompiled and could potentially be ported over to PC would be absolutely spectacular, because right now the original Smash Bros. On N64 has one PC port that some people love and some people love to hate, and more PC ports in development, but I know basically that, while being an amazing game in and of itself, is not anyone's favorite, and they really want to go towards Melee. And trust me, the difference between decompiling an N64 game and a GameCube game is night and day different, just because you have an entirely different system with a different code base. That's why you see a lot of these projects can take a lot of time, because something like Melee is just going to be more complex as far as the actual amount of code associated with the project than something like N64. Now, I'm not saying that decompiling any one system is easier or harder than the other, but when you have more code to decompile, that just means you have more work to do. Think of it like a 500-piece puzzle versus a 1,000-piece puzzle. You're just doing more to get the same result at the end. I hope that makes sense to you, because I always love to compare things visually. And I will say, imagine a world in which we have a Smash Melee PC port with all sorts of different enhancements, higher frame rates, maybe even ultra-wide support with netcode built in, the ability to mod it to your heart's content, do anything else possible with Melee, because that really is what a PC port brings, and something I always like to talk about. A PC port of the game day one is just going to be a better performing, better looking version of the base game, but year one you're going to see so many different mods and features put in, it's going to feel like Melee basically got an entire remake from Nintendo, except fans did it and probably added in more features than Nintendo ever would. So taking a look here, you're going to see that Super Smash Bros. Melee is 65.82% decompiled, so we're just going to call that 66% for the recording of this video. Last time I took a look at this one, it was only 32% decompiled. And as we go over the heat map here, just so you know, anything that is in green, that means it's 100% decompiled, anything in blue is somewhere between 1 and 99%, and anything in black is a 0% decompilation status. And every single little square here is a different component of the game. Like right now, we're just taking a look at throwing a cargo box, the animations involved with it, the physics, and everything else. Now this entire submodule here is just about one object in the game, and that is how complex these decomps get, especially when you get to more advanced systems like something like the GameCube, because you have exponentially more code to have to deal with than the N64 version of the game. And just so you know, I am playing this on Dolphin right now, and it's one of those things, playing Melee is incredible no matter how you play it, on original hardware or via Dolphin emulation. Now it's not like there aren't already amazing ways to play this game, but a PC port would just be one more, and it really would allow the community to basically go nuts with this stuff. But do leave me a comment down below and you tell me, of all the Smash Bros. Games, which ones are your favorite, and which one more so than any other would you like to snap your fingers and see a perfect PC port for? For me, it's definitely Melee, and I feel like it's going to be a lot for you as well, but I do love hearing your answers on this because it's always a fun topic. And these are the type of games that definitely deserve decompilation and PC porting in the future, because they're so competitive, they have such a huge player base around them, it really would give a lot of people a lot better version of the game. I don't want you to think I'm saying that playing Melee on original hardware is bad. It is incredible, but honestly, having those quality of life improvements and modern features, including some modern netcode to be able to play this whenever you want, and a native PC application would be great. And don't forget, native PC applications are also way lower resource intensive than something like GameCube emulation, especially if you want to go to 1080p or 4K. You can just get away with it on a lot lower end systems. Let's do a soundtrack sample. Just imagine the Melee soundtrack coming out of your computer, not via Dolphin emulation or not via real hardware, but actual PC porting, which is not an easy thing because you have to get all the audio and video calls over. But go ahead and listen, I'll be right back with more. Just love the rendition of that song, and I love how charming Melee really is, because it is a completely different game from being the same game compared to the N64 original, just because there is a lot of other stuff around the edges that you can kind of play around with. And you'll see here as of the recording, this was updated only 3 days ago, so obviously this is a very active decompilation project, and it is one of those things you might end up seeing a port, and again, I am guessing that maybe this has the overall versus mode in there, and maybe more of the story mode could come secondarily. I don't know if that's how I would do it, but once this code is mature enough to be able to actually port from, you might see somebody try to stand up a test version that just involves the actual versus portion of the game. Because really, if we're being entirely honest, that is what 99 out of 100 people are here for. They want to fight against their friends, they want to fight competitively, and maybe against the CPU if they have to capture video and no one else is around like I am right now. But it is one of those things we know that GameCube ports are possible because we have The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess Courage Reborn port in development, as well as the Dust port that I haven't been able to test yet, but hopefully will soon. And those learnings are definitely going to be able to aid in a future where somebody decides to port Super Smash Bros. Melee over to PC. Because as far as getting all the video and audio working, the calls from the actual GameCube code and hardware to a modern GPU setup, that is something that is already being done on the Twilight Princess port, so some of that code base will definitely be helpful, and some of that knowledge will definitely be helpful for more GameCube ports in the future, because every single time one of these projects gets 100% decompiled and then ported over, it's always going to aid in future projects. That's why you're seeing everything speed up so quickly on the N64 side of things with static recomps and ports. So many people are working on so many things, they talk to each other, they're on Discords together, and it really does aid everyone getting these things done easier and quicker. And it's one of those things, I really do feel like in the next 5 to 10 years, you're going to have dozens upon dozens of PC ports for GameCube and probably like 50 to 100 static recomps and PC ports on the N64 side of things, because this just keeps picking up speed, and honestly, I know this is one of the #1 games that everyone wants to see. But outside of Smash games, if you could snap your fingers and make one GameCube game appear as a perfect PC port today, what would it be? For me, I'm going to go with Eternal Darkness. I love that game, and it is still a ton of fun on GameCube, but I feel like it would be a lot better with some quality of life improvements on PC. And that really is the great thing about decomps, recomps, and PC ports. It doesn't just give you a new way to play one of your favorite games, it can fix some of the issues in games, whether you want to just change up how they work or a couple bugs that may have been shipped with the disc as well, because this was definitely before the era of updates. But one more soundtrack sample, just because the music in this game is straight 10 out of 10 and I love it. And I'll be right back with more. Did I make you listen to the same soundtrack sample twice? I absolutely did, but I let you listen to a different part, and that's because that jazzy rendition of a Mario classic absolutely is one of my favorite tracks that Nintendo ever put to any video game, whether it's Mario or Smash Brothers. And again, think of all the existing mods that happen with Melee, and think about those being able to be brought over to PC, and having the entire codebase being public so that people can go in and take a look at it. Because trust me, ROM hacks are a hell of a lot harder to deal with than just changing up existing source code. I'm not saying that using source code is easy either, it just is a more streamlined way to get different things into a game that everyone knows, loves, and remembers. And it's one of those things. This game is still as beloved, maybe more so than the year it actually came out, and since Nintendo hasn't recently given us new Smash Brothers to play around with, something like a PC port potentially of Melee one day would be the next best thing. But how long is it going to take to get from 66% to 100%? It could be done in a month, it could be done in 6 months, it could be done in a year, it could take 2 years, we really just don't know. But I've been getting a lot of questions about this one because of the Smash Brothers PC port on N64, and I figured it was like almost a year since I talked about it last, and because the decompilation status has doubled, I figured that was big enough big decomp energy to whip out and show you guys on video. But short of that, definitely love this game, and I can't wait to be able to say that there's a test version out to play. I kind of feel like maybe that'll come next year though, but again, I know nothing more than you do. I'm just talking about the available information. But short of that, hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. Tell me your favorite Smash game, and I'll see you guys next time. And don't forget, play Melee. Bye-bye.